Hey guys, it's Jason. We're going to talk a little bit about collaborating using Git and GitHub. So I've already created my repo in GitHub, and then I've cloned it on my local machine. I added in all of the Express framework, added Mongoose, did npm install. We all did this in class last Wednesday, so we shouldn't have to refresh on that. So where I'm at now is at a clean install of the Express framework, and my Node server is should be good to go. So what I want to do is create the environment that's going to allow me to collaborate. And so step one, notice we just have the master branch so far. What I want to do is I want to create a dev branch. The dev branch is what we're going to be merging our changes up to from our own development branches. So the dev branch is like the second to the last stop, and the last stop being the master branch. We don't generally put anything into master branch until it's been through dev and has been edited, has been verified, fully vetted, making sure the application works. Nothing that goes to master should ever have errors in it. We use dev for troubleshooting, basically. So we need to create that branch. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to branch in Git, which will create a new branch name, and then I'll check out that branch. Now, if we're doing this for the first time, we can actually check out and create in the same command. So if we do git branch, git checkout minus b for branch, and then I'm going to create a dev branch. And so it creates that branch and automatically switches to it. And there's my Express framework in there already ready to go. And what's missing though is that branch on GitHub. So it's been created locally on Git, but it's not in GitHub, and it's an exact copy of master at this point. So if I want to put it up on GitHub, I have to do a git push, right? But first thing we need to do is git add, and then git commit minus m initial commit. Nothing to commit because everything here is a copy of master. So we don't actually have anything to add to this. So what we're going to be doing is a git push to push this folder up, or push this branch up there, but it's not like a folder. It's a version of those files, and because they are a version of master, there's nothing to add. There's nothing to commit because we haven't made any changes. We're still just branched off of master, but we still want to have that branch in our repo. So where we really should start is git push origin is the name of our connection, and then the repo we're going to is dev. Cool. And once that's done, I can look back over here. I can refresh the page, and sure enough, now I have two branches. I've got dev and master. All right, now I want to create my local development branch, so I'm going to just refresh this, do git checkout minus b, and then Jason Lee Cooksey. Cool. And then again, I'm going to push this. And notice it doesn't take any time at all to push these files because it's not actually pushing any files. What it's doing is it's pushing a flag to GitHub and saying these are a copy of master. And so the files, when we look at them on GitHub, we're actually looking at the files from master, and then if anything changes, then that repo holds the changes, but then it holds a reference to the master to the files that haven't changed yet. So this is like a combination of both. But right now it's just master because we haven't made any changes to this yet. Okay. And because I want to get this all on the screencast here, I'm not going to switch over to my other computer. I'm just going to pretend I'm a different user. So I'm going to say I'm at my other machine. Now, moving to the other machine, now as a user, the collaborator, my process is a little bit differently. As a collaborator, I'm still going to clone that master, and then I'm going to create the dev branch, and I'm going to create my username branch for, in this case, it would be 0 mile, but I'm not going to push the dev branch because the dev branch already exists on GitHub. So all I'm doing is just branching from master into dev, and then I'm branching from master into 0 mile. So I'm going to do that. Git checkout -b to create a new branch called 0 mile, and it moves into that branch. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to do my git add. I don't think I should need to do that. No, I'm just git push, right? Origin, and then 0 mile. And again, it's only pushing the changes, and there's no changes, so it just pushes a flag saying all these files are the copy. So I'll refresh this, and then now we should have dev, JSON link cookie master, and 0 mile. All right, so I'm in the 0 mile branch right now, and so I'm going to look at my routes index.js file. Let's get this a little better arranged here. Cool. And I'm going to add a route here. Just going to copy and paste the home page, and I'm going to create one for about. So it's going to be /about, and it's going to pull up the about Jade file. Now I'm not going to go through creating the Jade files, but just know that in order for this to work, there would need to be one in here called about.jade. Okay. All right. So make sure and save the file, and I'm going to pop back over to terminal. And if I do a git status, it should say routes index.js has been modified. Now watch this. So this is kind of an interesting thing. This is not part of the process, but this is just to demonstrate. I'm going to check out and switch back over to dev. So I need to do git checkout dev, and it's going to switch to branch dev. And look at what my index.js file looks like. Has it changed? What have I done? Did something happen? Check out master. Oh, because I haven't committed this yet, it's not going to change. Git checkout. Now let's go back to, where was I? 0 mile? Okay. So I'm going to do git add period, git commit -m, and I'm going to say changed index.js, added, what did we add to this? The about page, right? All right. And then git push origin 0 mile. Now this time it is actually going to push a file. And if I come over here and refresh the page and go over to 0 mile, and if I look at routes index.js, you can see here are my changes right here in this about section. Now let me switch over to the dev branch, and you can see in the dev branch those changes aren't in there yet. We have to merge them in. So let's do something real quick. Let's switch over to our JSON-Lee-Cooksy branch. So now I'm the other user. And I'm going to bring up my editor. And notice that this version of index.js in this branch doesn't have those new changes. And that's to be expected because we've committed those changes in that other branch. This branch doesn't have those changes yet. So I'm going to add another route. But this time, instead of about, I'm going to create a contact route. Save that. Go back to terminal. Git add. Git commit -m. Changed index.js. Added contact routes. Cool. And then git push origin. And then to my dev branch, JSON-Lee-Cooksy. Cool. So now when I look at the JSON-Lee-Cooksy branch, I've got the contact page here. And on the 0 mile branch, I have the about page. So what I'm going to do first is, on the account owner here, I'm going to merge this into dev now. So I'm going to switch to, let's go back to the main page here. And I'm going to do a pull request, new pull request. And the base of this is going to be dev. And I'm going to pull in JSON-Lee-Cooksy branch. And it's going to give me, this first time, it's going to give me this green check mark because it's saying, everything's cool, man. You can rock and roll with this. The reason for that is that in the dev branch, hi, Stinky, my cat's saying hi. In the dev branch, you have just that main route for the index page. But what we've done in the JSON-Lee-Cooksy branch is we've added the contact route. So because we're only adding stuff, we're not deleting or editing anything. It's gonna allow that merge to go through because we don't. There's not a conflict. Nothing has been replaced with anything. So I'm going to create the pull request. So the request is staged, and then I have to merge it. So it's kind of like add and commit. So we're just adding it to be staged, and then we're going to go ahead and confirm that. Something went wrong. Couldn't update branch. Try again. Merge pull request. Confirm merge. There we go. That was interesting. All right, pull request successfully merged and closed. Now here you can delete the branch, and then you can go back and do a git branch off of dev. But we're going to do something a little better. Deleting branch here just deletes the branch on GitHub. So we're going to ignore that for right now. I'm going to go back to the main page. And now what I need to do is I need to pull request and commit the changes from 0 mile. So I'm going to add a new pull request. Base is going to be dev. This is where we're merging our changes into. And we're pulling from 0 mile. And notice it says compare. So all we're doing right here is we're processing a comparison in GitHub. And you can run a merge locally in Git through terminal or bash, but because it manages a lot of, the management's the same from GitHub to Git, but in GitHub, because it's a graphical interface, it's a little easier to stomach. So that's why we're doing our merges using pull requests inside of GitHub. Now, what it's doing is giving us a message that says can't automatically merge. Don't worry, you can still create the pull request. Thank you, GitHub. The name of this is automatically assigned the most recent commit of what you're comparing to. So in 0 mile, the last commit that we made, we gave it a name of changed index.js, added about page. So I just because I see your red X and red text here, I still have to pull these files in. So there's nothing nothing wrong. I haven't done anything wrong. There's no error in my file. It's just saying, hey, this isn't going to be able to automatically be merged. You're going to have to do a little fixing on this once that happens. So I'm going to create a pull request anyway. And here we can see the pull request was created. And it's saying this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. Now again, when you do a merge locally in Git, you'll have to resolve conflicts as well, either through Atom or through Nano in the command line. We're going to use the GitHub editor to resolve the conflict. So we click that gray button there. And now it's going to show us the file, and it's going to show us the before and after. Things that are different. And it's going to say here, this is the stuff that came from 0 mile, and this is the stuff that's inside of dev. So 0 mile is me. I'm also Jason Lee Cooksey, but I'm also 0 mile. And I'm basically confirming my own pull request, which is kind of a dangerous thing. But at any rate, this is most likely something that your partner would do, because you guys should always be monitoring each other's pull requests and confirming each other's pull requests and not your own pull requests. But what this means is that this is the code that 0 mile is trying to stick in the file right here, but at this point in the file we already have this stuff. So does this replace that? Well, answer that question, no. These are two things that have to be there together, right? We've added the about page, and we already have the contact page. So we need to tell or direct GitHub or the conflict resolver that these should both be there. So normally you could say, oh, well, this code is newer or this code is newer, and you just delete the other code and then mark it as resolved, and then everything would be good to go. But we're going to keep both of these. So all we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these flags that are put in the file. These are actually in the file right now. And we're going to delete all of those, and we're going to say mark as resolved. Now what this does, it's kind of tricky, is it's pulling the dev code into your branch, and then it's merging that code into the dev branch. So what you're doing is you're saying, okay, the contact stuff was already there, and now I'm for sure adding this about back in. So when I click mark as resolved, I still have to commit the changes. So there's an extra little step here, and then I have to process that merge and confirm it. Successfully merged and closed. All right, so let's see what damage we did here. So if I go to my TC and I look at my Jason Lee Cooksey branch and look at that file, remember this was the first merge we did. So here is my homepage, and here's the contact page. And then we look at the second merge from the 0 mile branch. We'll look at the same file. Well, it's going to have three things in it. It's going to actually look exactly like dev, because what we did is we had to pull stuff from dev into this file to make it so we could compare and finalize what section won out over what other section got deleted. Well, nothing was deleted and nothing won out. It was everything was the winner. We just removed the flags. And so our branch here was updated and then merged into the dev branch. So if I look at the dev branch, it's going to be an exact copy of this file. And there it is. All right. So all of this is all happening in GitHub. None of this is happening on our local machine yet. So what we have to do now is we need to update our local files from dev. So this is the part where you guys call each other or text and be like, okay, everything, that commit has processed. Depending on how you have your flag set up, you may get an email saying that commit has been, or that pull request has been finalized. And so I'm on Jason Lee Cooksey. That's me. We're pretending I'm on my computer, and all I need to do is git pull origin, and I'm pulling from dev. And so what I'm doing is I'm merging dev into my local files. Cool. That's good. And now when I open up Atom, now I've got all three of those change, or all two of those changes, and they're all three of the routes, but these are the two changes that were made. Cool. And I'm going to now pretend I'm back on this computer. And when I look at this file here, oh, let's see here, what did I do? Let's get pull origin. Yeah, so we're seeing weird stuff because this is all within the same Git user, even though I'm using different branches. So it's acting, we're not seeing the changes here like we would expect to see, but what matters is that our merging is correct, and we are doing these pulls. So that's the process to go through. I'll try and add some like a step-by-step also in the notes on this YouTube here, so you guys can follow along with that. Best of luck to you. Thank you.